Welcome everyone. I shall be convening the meeting shortly. We'll just give people a few minutes to join the meeting. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We're ready to start. Thank you. Thank you for bearing with us while we check the tech, etc. I'd like to start off by introducing the panel members. So online we have Irma Donaldson, who is the Deputy Chair.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Nice to see you, Irma. Thank you for joining us. I have to my right, we have Anne Whitehorn, who is Chair of Finance and Resources Committee.
Good afternoon.
And on my left, I have Steve Jameson, who is our Chief Executive Officer. Good afternoon. And to his left, we have Karen Willis, who is our Company Secretary.
Good afternoon.
So welcome everyone to the 71st Annual General Meeting of the Royal College of Speech and Language Therapists. For those who don't know me, I'm Sean Pert, Chair of the Board of Trustees. The calling notice for this meeting, together with the agenda, explanatory notes and proxy voting forms, were circulated to all members of the RCSLT in the e-newsletter of the 19th of October and by letter where necessary. All full members are eligible to vote at this meeting. When we come to vote, ordinary resolutions are passed by a simple majority. Special resolutions require a majority of 75% eligible to vote and present in this webinar. We're going to have a test run of the online poll procedure in just a moment. And I have one apologies for absence, and that's Jan Barselman from PPC. I think we have confirmation that we have more than 20 full members who are eligible to vote in this webinar, so I declare the meeting quorate. And now for some housekeeping for our AGM. So Q&A, please do use the Q&A button to post questions to the panel. We will answer questions about the special resolutions as we come to each special resolution. However, if you have questions about the Trustees Annual Report or the annual accounts, we have allowed some time at the end of this AGM. If we don't have time to answer your questions in the live event, then we'll get back to you after the event. When sending chat messages, please make sure you give your full name and membership number so that we can get back to you after the event. Chat, we have staff on hand, so any technical questions can go to Jasmine, who is our RCSLT host on the Zoom meeting, and she will do her best to help you. Polling, all voting will be done by the polling function. We'll put up a practice poll in a moment, so you'll see how it's done if you're not familiar. And rejoining, you may leave and rejoin the event at any time using the same link. If you have any additional needs, please feel free to send a private chat to Jasmine and she will do her best. So let's do a test poll. I think this test poll is the age-old question. What's your favourite beverage? Let's see how British we are in terms of tea consumption, shall we? So the polls are open for 1 minute. That allows everyone to find the poll and click the right thing that they want to click. We're then able to share the poll results on the screen. So we'll show you that after the 1 minute has elapsed. You just have 10 seconds. If you've got a favourite hot drink you want to promote, please vote for it now. And there we have it. So the traditional cup of tea has persisted, which I'm very pleased about, because I use it as an example of a schwa cup of tea, which is very good. Super. Thank you everyone for bearing with that test poll. Hopefully that will be nice and easy for you for the future polls. So that brings us to item 2, which is acceptance of the minutes of the AGM. So you can vote for, against, or abstain. So the meeting of the AGM was held on the 6th of October 2022. These have been circulated and taken as read. I would like to sign these minutes as a correct record of that AGM. May I have a proposer, please? To propose, you can raise your hand.
Judith Brown.
Thank you, Judith, for proposing. And may I have a seconder, please? Please just use the raise your hand function.
Francis Johnston.
Thank you, Francis. Wonderful. So the voting will now open for that item, and you have 1 minute. Thank you, everyone. So that has the majority in favour. I will sign those minutes on completion of the AGM. So that takes us to item 3, presentation, consideration and adoption of Trustees Annual Report 2022 to 23. This has been available on the website since the beginning of October and was also sent in hard copy to those members who requested it. Now I'm going to move on to the impacts and achievements. So on screen, you'll see some of the marvellous work that the staff and members have carried out in the last 12 months. It's really lovely to see all that super work. Thank you. And next is quality practice. For our work on co-production, over 1,000 organisations and thousands of individuals have signed up for communication access training. We've also piloted new classroom resources, co-produced with children to help them understand communication needs. Innovation and excellence. On innovation and excellence, we've worked with service users and member groups on a wide range of guidance. We have presented our data work at a number of different conferences, achieving national recognition. On workforce development, 2 new apprenticeship courses are up and running. With funding from Health Education England, we are developing a range of workforce tools, including the professional development framework for all SLTs at every stage of their career. For innovative organisation, we've delivered a wide variety of events, launched a new newsletter for Scottish members, made improvements to our website, and continued to grow our national, regional, and trade media profile. For active influencing, we've continued to develop our work on equality and diversity, including establishing a working group to support SLTs with a disability. We were invited to be a critical friend for the Welsh Government Workforce Race Equality Standards, and as you will see from the resolutions coming up shortly, we continue to improve the diversity of the board. We're continuing with active influencing, creating profile and opportunity. Political influencing activity included convening over 130 organisations to campaign for more investment in the specialist workforce for children and young people, as well as securing change to NICE guidance. And continuing on the theme of active influencing work in Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland also remains strong, with a range of activities having taken place to ensure that the SLT voice is heard. On funding and recovery, as part of an alliance, we are core participants in the COVID-19 public inquiry. Which brings us to item 3, ordinary resolution 1, adoption of Trustees Annual Report. And again, you can vote for, against, or abstain. May I have a proposer for this item, please?
Rosalind Kyle.
Thank you, Rosalind. And a seconder?
Alison Ramsey.
Thank you, Alison. The voting will now show, and I invite you to vote. Thank you. The majority in favour. The resolution is therefore carried. Item 4 is the presentation, consideration and adoption of the annual accounts and auditors report. I'll now ask Anne Whitehorn, the chair of our Finance and Resources Committee, to speak on the item.
Thank you, Sean. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, we will look at the RCSLT's financial objectives. As trustees of the organisation, the board is responsible for ensuring that the charity is solvent, well run and able to deliver its charitable objects. The overall aim of the RCSLT's financial strategy is to maintain a long-term financial viability in order to achieve the objectives in the strategic plan. In order to measure performance against this overall objective, the board has approved 6 financial objectives, which are shown on the slide. 4 of these objectives were met during the year ended the 31st of March 2023, while the board approved that 2 of these objectives could be waived in 22-23. As part of the development of the new 5-year vision for 22 to 27, the board has reviewed its financial objectives and regularly reviews its spending plans to ensure that its financial objectives will be met. Now we're moving on to the income and expenditure account for the financial year ended the 31st of March 2023. Income totalled £5.6 million. This was £500,000 more than last year, with growth in membership subscriptions and commercial trading activities. Expenditure increased by £1.1 million to £5.9 million, with increased spend on the development of professional guidance. This resulted in a deficit of £300,000 before investment gains, but we must be mindful that this was a planned deficit. The net return on investments was a loss of £100,000. No formal valuation of the RCSLT offices at White Hart Yard was carried out, and the trustees have confirmed that the valuation at the 31st of March 2022 remains appropriate to use in the accounts. Overall funds have decreased by £400,000. We'll now look at RCSLT's income in 22-23. The majority of RCSLT's income is generated through membership fees, which account for 80% of total income. A further 12% of income comes from commercial trading activities, which include the sale of advertising space and royalties earned on subscriptions to the International Journal. RCSLT also receives smaller amounts of income from other sources, such as events and conferences, investments, grants, and legacies and donations. Now we'll look at expenditure in 22-23. Our expenditure falls under 3 focus areas in line with our charitable objectives and our strategic plan, along with expenditure on commercial trading activities and investment management costs. Staffing and other general costs are allocated towards these 5 main headings. Using this split, 47% of our expenditure, £2.8 million, goes towards focus area quality practice. 17% of our expenditure, just over £1 million, supports focus area innovative organisation. A further 29%, £1.7 million, goes towards active influencing. Expenditure related to commercial trading activities, it's just over £370,000, 6% of total expenditure. This is predominantly the cost of producing bulletin. And finally, £19,000, just under 1% of total expenditure, was spent on investment management costs. I'd now like to talk to you about the balance sheet for RCSLT. First of all, we have fixed assets of £4.5 million. This includes the building at White Hart Yard, IT equipment, capitalised software development costs, and office furniture. Next, we have £3.3 million of investments managed by external fund managers. Finally, our net current assets, which comprise debtors and cashless creditors, have decreased by £300,000 to £1.5 million. Overall net assets have decreased by £400,000. Now we come to the audit. Under company law, the trustees of RCSLT are responsible for the preparation of the financial statements and for being satisfied that they give a true and fair view of the state of the charity's affairs. In preparing the financial statements, the trustees are also responsible for assessing the RCSLT's ability to continue as a going concern. The trustees have concluded that RCSLT is in sound financial health and the auditors have no concerns to report. With respect to the 2022-23 accounts, our auditors, Hayes McIntyre LLP, have concluded that the financial statements give a true and fair view of the state of RCSLT finances as at the 31st of March 2023, and they have given us an unqualified audit report. We're now going to look at some of our spending plans for this current year. Each year, the trustees review how much they plan to spend on projects to support members and service users, either directly or indirectly. We're planning to spend £664,000 in 22-23-24 on projects. We still hold £675,000 for future projects for the benefit of members in line with the 5-year vision. A fixed asset fund of £1,300,000 has been established, and this represents amounts already invested in fixed assets used in the charity's work. The table here highlights the bigger planned projects. A full table is in the published accounts on our website. Looking at some of the bigger projects, we will continue to invest in professional guidance for members with £68,000 set aside in 2023-24. Research and development continues to be an area of investment with £28,000 set aside. Funds totaling £49,000 have been set aside to support the development of clinical excellence networks. £43,000 is planned to be spent on projects relating to the collection and use of data to support workforce planning. £92,000 is set aside for the further development of the RCSLT online outcome tool, better known as ROOT. Finally, we continue to invest in our digital development with £207,000 planned to be spent in 2023-24. Finally, I'd like to speak about membership fees. Membership fees are the single largest long-term source of income we have, accounting for 80% of our total income in 22-23. Looking forward, RCSLT aims to maintain the ongoing level of services offered to members, but recognises the challenges of inflation, currently running at about 9%, and the potential strain on RCSLT's financial position should a return to lower inflation not occur as quickly as hoped. It is essential that RCSLT retains a robust financial position and continues to meet its financial objectives and KPIs. The Board of Trustees has therefore approved an average increase in membership fees of 4% for the year 2024-25. For certified members, the increase equates to an additional £12 per year. Membership fees for all categories will be published in Bulletin in January 2024. In summary, RCSLT is in sound financial health, and we continue to prepare for and respond to the challenges presented by the less benign and uncertain economic times we face, meaning that we can continue working together to provide a voice for the profession and improve lives of our service users. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat and we'll try to answer them at the end, or put the answers to your questions on the website after the AGM. I'll now pass back to Sean.
Thank you very much, Anne. So the next item is Ordinary Resolution 2, adoption of the Accounts and Auditors Report for 22-23. May I have a proposer, please?
Judith Roll.
Thank you, Judith. And a seconder, please?
Francis Johnstone.
Thank you, Francis. So you should have the voting on screen, and again, a minute to respond. Thank you. Thank you very much. A majority in favour, so I declare the resolution carried. This brings us to item 5, Ordinary Resolution 3, appointment of auditors. So to appoint Hayes McIntyre LLP as our auditors for 2023 to 2024 and for the board to fix their remuneration. May I have a proposer, please?
Glenn Carter.
Thank you, Glenn. And a seconder, please?
Rosalind Kyle.
Thank you, Rosalind. Again, you'll have 1 minute to vote for, against or abstain. Thank you. Thank you. A majority in favour, so I declare the resolution carried. So we now come to item 6, the ratification of appointment to the board at this AGM, which is resolutions 4 to 8 will carry through. So at the AGM in November 2021, in line with our commitment to increasing diversity in RCSLT's leadership and governance structures, members voted to change the way that we select board and committee members. The Board of Trustees established a nominations committee chaired by the Deputy Chair. The new selection process includes applications for key roles, interviews with panel members drawn from the Board of Trustees, members of the Nominations Committee and RCSLT members who are part of a selection pool. The Nominations Committee met to review the outcomes of the interviews and the Board have approved the recommendations made. You'll be asked to ratify 4 new trustees and for the reappointment of 1 existing trustee for a further term of 1 year. The biographies of these trustees have been posted on the website along with the papers for the AGM so that you could read these to inform your voting at the meeting. Jasmine has also added a link to these biographies in the chat box at the beginning of the meeting today. Each ratification will be taken as a separate resolution. So, item 6, ordinary resolution 4, ratification of the appointment of Gemma Haynes as a general trustee. May I have a proposer, please?
Ruth Sedgwick.
Thank you, Ruth. And a seconder, please?
Irma Donaldson.
Thank you, Irma. So you'll now have a vote for, against or abstain, please. Thank you. A majority in favour. I declare the resolution carried. That brings us to item 6, ordinary resolution 5, ratification of the appointment to the board of Lauren Edwards as country representative for Wales. May I have a proposer, please?
Gemma Haynes.
Thank you, Gemma. And a seconder, please?
Philippa Cotterill.
Thank you very much, Philippa. The voting will now open for that resolution, and you can vote to approve, for, against or abstain, please. Thank you very much. A majority are in favour. I declare the resolution carried. So next is item 6, ordinary resolution 6, ratification of the appointment to the board of Ruth Crampton as country representative for Northern Ireland. May I have a proposer, please?
Kathleen Graham.
Many thanks, Kathleen. And a seconder, please?
Darren Hanschi.
Many thanks, Darren. You have a minute to vote for, against or abstain on that proposal. Thank you. The majority in favour. I declare the resolution carried. Item 6, ordinary resolution 7, ratification of the appointment to the board of Sundeep Sidhu as lay trustee for digital. May I have a proposer, please?
Irma Donaldson.
Thank you, Irma. And a seconder, please?
Darren Hanschi.
Thank you, Darren. Again, you have 1 minute to vote for, against or abstain. Thank you. Thank you. A majority in favour, so I declare the resolution carried. Item 6, ordinary resolution 8, ratification of the reappointment to the board of Liesl Borough as lay trustee for HR and OD. Could I have a proposer, please?
Victoria Baker.
Thank you, Victoria. And a seconder?
Philippa Cotterill.
Many thanks, Philippa. You have 1 minute to vote for, against or abstain on that proposal. Thank you. Thank you. A majority in favour. I declare the resolution carried. That brings us to item 7, report of the composition of the Board of Trustees for 2023 to 2024. So chair is me, and Deputy Chair is Irma, who is on the call. Then we come to Sundeep Sidhu as lay digital member and Liesl Burrow as lay member for HR and OD. And we come to country representatives with Helen Robinson for England North, Vicky Baker for England South, Pauline Downey for Scotland, Ruth Crampton for Northern Ireland, and Lauren Edwards for Wales. And then we have General Trustees Eve Baird, Darini Hans G, Francis Johnston, Angela Shimada, and Gemma Haynes. And for the Trustee for Research, Marion Brady. And our outgoing trustees, a huge thank you for all the work that these three individuals have contributed to the board and the profession. Rosalind Kyle as country representative for Northern Ireland, Janet Chambers as general trustee, and John Humphrey as lay trustee for digital. We now have item 8, which is special resolution 1, amendments to the memorandum and articles of association. In autumn 2022, the board commissioned an external review of its governance structure to ensure that this remained fit for purpose. A task and finish group was established to review the findings and report back to the board with recommendations. The working group recommended changes to the role of honorary treasurer, including changing the title to Chair of the Finance and Resources Committee. Having taken legal advice, changes to the Memorandum of Articles of Association are proposed to replace references to Honorary Treasurer with Chair of Finance and Resources Committee. In September 2023, the Board approved the proposed changes to the Articles of Association. We now take the Special Resolution 1 to amend Articles 41 brackets 1 brackets C and 42 brackets 2 brackets 5 of the Articles of Association by replacing reference to Honorary Treasurer with Chair of the Finance and Resources Committee. May I have a proposer, please?
Judith Roll.
Thank you, Judith. And a seconder, please?
Gemma Haynes.
Thank you, Gemma. The voting screen will show again, and please vote to for, against, or abstain for the special resolution vote. Thank you. So I see that the majority and the threshold for a special resolution has been met. So I declare the resolution carried. Item 9 is any other business. Is there any further business, please? No? Thank you. Any questions from members, please? No questions? That just remains for me then to thank you all for your time. Attendance at AGM is essential for the good governance and running of the RCSLT, your membership organisation. Thank you so much for your time in reading the papers and your voting today. Thank you. I declare the meeting closed.